What if your profession, the thing you do every single day, just disappears within the next 3 years? Welcome to FutureShock. Today, we're staring down the barrel of an incredible and honestly pretty terrifying technological shift. We're looking at a countdown that most of us don't even realize has already started. This explainer takes a hard, urgent look at the incredibly rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, and we're basing this entirely on the spine-chilling warnings of Mo Gawdat. He's a man who had a literal front-row seat to the creation of this technology. Listen, we are not talking about some distant science fiction movie set decades from now. We are talking about the reality of your life right now, changing forever. I really want you to let that reality sink in for a second. All your studying, all that ladder climbing you've done, those late nights at the office, suddenly made totally obsolete. Now, I know it sounds like hyperbole, right? Like a cheap scare tactic to get your attention. But according to the actual data and the experts who literally built these systems with their own hands, this is a highly probable reality. The AI revolution isn't coming someday, it is already here, and the clock is loudly ticking on human relevance in the workplace. So, the man sounding the absolute loudest alarm right now is Mo Gawdat. He's the former chief business officer at Google X. So he isn't just some tech outsider taking wild guesses. He was deep inside the labs. Back in 2016, he was watching an AI learn how to grip objects with the same kind of nuanced intelligence as a human child, and he had this terrifying realization. He said that we were, in his exact words, genuinely handing over the reins of superintelligence to another being. He realized right then and there that the ultimate superpower on the planet was being born, and we might not actually be able to control it. Gawdat calls our current situation the hype dichotomy. It's fascinating. On one side, you have what the general public is totally distracted by, right? Deep fake videos, funny chatbots, clunky humanoid robots falling over. It feels kind of overhyped. But inside the silent, locked vaults of the major tech labs, the reality is completely different. We now have autonomous AI systems that look at their own code, run complex experiments, test them, and then redeploy better code. Imagine a tiny, invisible genius in the back end, not just writing a new line of code every day, but iterating and improving itself every single microsecond. Intelligence is quite literally triggering more intelligence.
And that brings us to the AI countdown. Look, this isn't some vague, maybe someday prediction. It's an escalating timeline. Right now, present day, AI is drastically increasing back-end efficiency. But the real shockwave hits around 2027. That's when Gawdat predicts the arrival of artificial general intelligence. Then, by 2028, he's warning of up to a 30% job loss in certain sectors. And by 2030 and beyond, humanity hits a massive, brutal crossroads. We either spiral into dystopian civil unrest, or we somehow break through to a post-scarcity utopia of total abundance.
Now, the absolute crucial point here is understanding exactly who is in the crosshairs first. Because for years, we all thought physical, blue-collar jobs would be the first to fall to the robots, right? But the immediate risk is actually somewhere else entirely. Paralegals, financial analysts, coders, graphic designers, the entry-level and middle-tier knowledge workers are the ones on the front lines. And why is that? Well, because you don't need to build a physical robot to replace them. You just need massive compute power. If a job involves clicking around on a computer or writing basic reports, an AI can do the job of 40 people, completely predictably and for a fraction of the cost. So ironically, right now, a plumber is actually way safer than a financial analyst. 30%. Let that number hang in the air for a second. Mo Gawdat predicts that up to 30% of jobs in certain knowledge worker sectors will be permanently lost by 2028. We're not just talking about a company becoming a little more efficient, we are talking about a massive structural economic shock. Because when you remove that much purchasing power from the middle class, the traditional capitalist model, which totally relies on everyday people earning wages to go out and buy goods, it begins to spiral completely out of control. We're facing a fundamental disruption of how our entire global economy functions.
And this leads us straight to the tipping point, AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. This is that massive threshold moment when AI becomes better than humans at almost any task we can possibly do. Gawdat boldly predicts we're going to cross this line by 2027, or honestly, maybe even sooner. In fact, he argues that for a lot of tasks like deep research, complex writing, high-level mathematics, AGI is basically already here. It's kind of like the moment your kids suddenly grow up and become smarter than you. It sneaks up on you, and then all of a sudden the power dynamic has permanently shifted.
So what is work going to look like in the immediate future for those who actually survive the job cuts? Well, imagine your natural brain power as just one tiny little slice of a massive pie. The huge remainder of that pie, that's the intelligence you are going to have to borrow from AI just to stay relevant.
Gawdat explains that to remain competitive, workers will basically use AI to borrow hundreds of IQ points. You're going to be operating in a hybrid workforce. And here's the harsh truth. If you refuse to use the tools, you won't necessarily be replaced by an AI, you'll be replaced by another human who is acting as a super manager to an AI workforce.
But surprisingly, the loss of jobs actually isn't Mo Gawdat's biggest fear. His true worry is so much darker. He says, AI is not the enemy. I'm worried about humans telling AI to turn against us. The dystopia we are speeding toward isn't about some rogue robot waking up one day and deciding to hate humanity. It's about a powerful few, massive corporations or aggressive governments, deciding to weaponize the ultimate superpower on the planet to gain total control, increase global surveillance, or win wars.
And perhaps the most terrifying number in this entire equation is $20,000. This right here is the new economics of modern AI-driven warfare. We are moving away from multi-million-dollar ballistic missiles to highly lethal, completely autonomous drone swarms that cost just 20 grand a pop. Think about that. When killing becomes liability-free, completely emotion-free, and incredibly cheap, you get a lot more of it. Gawdat warns that this incredibly low barrier to entry for autonomous weapons is leading us straight toward a terrifying new era of mutually assured destruction. But this time, it's accessible to nearly any nation on Earth.
So we are rapidly approaching the ultimate crossroads of 2030, and it's a stark, almost binary outcome. If we mishandle this transition, we are looking at severe dystopian unrest, crippling global unemployment, hyper-surveillance, and autonomous warfare. But if we successfully navigate this and actually align AI with humanity's best interests, we could unlock a post-scarcity utopia. We're talking about a world of total abundance, a world where AI solves complex diseases, flawlessly manages global energy grids, and eliminates mundane labor entirely. We are literally standing right on the razor's edge between these two extreme futures.
So, you might be wondering, why does Mo Gawdat remain ultimately optimistic about that utopian outcome? It actually comes down to physics and biology, specifically something called the minimum energy principle. The theory basically goes like this. The highest order of any system is one that performs predictably with the absolute least wasted energy. And what is war? War is a massive, incredibly inefficient waste of energy, lives, and resources. Therefore, a truly superintelligent AI will naturally optimize against war. The more intelligent an entity becomes, the less it feels the need to hurt others to succeed, naturally favoring abundance and cooperation over conflict.
Okay, so how do we actually survive the shock between right now and that potential utopia? Gawdat outlines 3 vital steps for us. First, lean in. Learn the AI tools right now so you can be the one commanding that incredible compute power. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, double down on human connection. Jobs requiring genuine human empathy, like nursing, counseling, or live entertainment, those are going to become the premium currency of our future economy. AI can fake a whole lot of things, but it cannot fake lived human experience. And third, demand ethical action. We cannot accept a world where corporations deploy AI purely for profit over human safety.
Which brings us to the final and most crucial question we all have to face. Are our governments really ready to handle 30% unemployment? Are we as a species ethically prepared to govern a technology that is fundamentally smarter than we are? Because if we tolerate the reckless deployment of this technology today, we are just handing our future over to a handful of tech oligarchs. I really want you to think about this, and I strongly urge you to debate this down in the comments below. Is humanity actually ready for the AI revolution? If this explainer opens your eyes to the reality of the next 3 years, don't just scroll past. Hit that subscribe button and join us for more FutureShock documentaries. We are going to keep bringing you these vital, structured, visual deep dives on artificial intelligence, geopolitics, and the rapidly changing future of humanity. The countdown has officially started. Stay informed, stay human, and we'll see you in the next explainer.